All right, easy bakers. So today we're gonna take our nice fluffy homemade biscuits and turn them into some sausage gravy biscuits, baby. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at Daverney Freeman, and let's go ahead and be a gang by hitting that subscribe button. So let's jump into the video. So using my iron skillet that's already on a medium high, I'm going to take my Jimmy Dean regular ground sausages and place it inside of this iron skillet. So once you get it in the pan, you're gonna take a spatula or whatever it is you're gonna use and just break it up so it's not so much in this little thick old log, honey. When I tell you this recipe is so easy to make and it is a staple in the southern community, like I really don't know no southerner that don't eat sausage gravy biscuit, girl. So now that it got done cooking on one side, I'm going to really dig into it and break this meat up as fine, not as fine, but just break it up as much as I can break it up, because I don't know about you, but when I first started cooking that little log and it be stuck together, I'm like, let me just let this heat hit it a little bit. So once the heat hit it a little bit, child, you gonna notice it's kind of easy to break up. And y'all don't worry about all this flour on my hand. I was making biscuits, so that's what happens when you're making some biscuits. You get flour everywhere. So now that that is all cooked, I'm gonna take some bacon grease, 2 tablespoons of bacon grease. If you do not have any bacon grease, you can use 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter. I love to use bacon grease because I am a southerner, and when we cook bacon, we just pour the grease into a mason jar, label it, and use it in our cooking. But that's just a southern thing, baby. So once I put my 2 tablespoons of bacon grease in it, I let it sizzle, just you know, just little 30 seconds or a minute, you know what I'm saying? And then you're just gonna stir it around, girl. Then I'm going to get my all-purpose flour. All of the ingredients will be listed in the description box. So I'm gonna take my all-purpose flour and I'm going to mix that into my sausage with my bacon grease, just so it can get nice and thick with it, girl. But be sure to kind of use your utensil to kind of scrub the bottom of the pan too. So now that you got your flour in there, you're gonna cook it down and you're gonna notice that it's going to start to thicken up. But you're going to just take your spatula and just kind of scrape the bottom of the pan. And like all rule, I like to let my flour cook for a minute or two so it can get that flour taste out of it. Then I'm going to add my milk, my whole milk, to the pan, and I'm adding it slowly because I want to keep scraping the bottom of my pan just to make sure there's nothing sticking. We don't want to be burning up anything or smoke our guests out, honey, during the holiday seasoning. I said seasoning. Girl, you tell I be cooking. It ain't holiday season no more, y'all. It's holiday seasonings, period. So if you don't be seasoning your food, now you know it's holiday seasoning for you. Season that food. So go ahead and add in 4 cups of whole milk. You don't have to use whole milk, but you're going to have to substitute some heavy cream and other stuff if you're not using whole milk. Just use whole milk and make it easier. And be sure to scrape down the bottom of that pan to make sure it's not sticking. So my heat is still on, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and add my spices to this. All of my spices will be linked down in the description box, but like I tell everyone, always adjust to your taste. So if you're not a thyme person, don't be putting no thyme in, girl. But yeah, so I added my thyme to that. I added some fresh cracked pepper, and I did add a generous pinch of salt. Stir it around to continue to let this cook up until it starts to thicken, and I will be tasting this as I go. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You better taste your food. Now that my gravy is thickening up, honey, I'm taking my homemade biscuits up at this oven because to me personally, you can use the Pillsbury biscuits. They're still just as good, but I personally think that if you're gonna be making some homemade stuff, it's the holiday time. Brandy, sit down. It's the holiday time. Girl, make some biscuits. And if you want to know how to make biscuits, I definitely have a recipe. I will be linking that recipe in the description box as well as the iCards. So get your biscuits together so you can put it on your gravy, okay? So by this time, this is how my gravy is looking. And I'm just giving it a nice good stir just to see if it's as thick as I want it to be. And this is the perfect consistency for me. If you would like to have a thicker gravy than this, then you will just add less milk. Or if you want it to be kind of loose, then you will add more milk. It's your kitchen, it's your world. Do what makes you happy, honey child boo boo, okay? But you can definitely, You can double this recipe. You can half it, just depending on your family size. And one tip that I can know when it's done, I just take a spoon, like the back of a spoon, and if it coats the back of a spoon, that's how I know it's ready to go, boo boo. Okay, you guys, so this is how I prefer to prepare my biscuits. I like to cut them in half, but you don't really have to cut them in half, but I like to cut them in half. Then I take my gravy and I spoon on about 1 to 2 spoonfuls just so all the gravy can just be on top of all the biscuits. You want all of the biscuit to be covered in some gravy. Like, have anybody ever told you he will sop you up with a biscuit? This is what he mean. You just thick like this gravy and you just look good. So you gonna sop them up with this biscuit, boo boo. So definitely, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are out and about of town, please watch your surroundings because y'all know we got a lot of people real big mad right now. Thank you for watching this video.